Here's your First Warn weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Well, good evening. Chief Meteorologist Candace King here, live at the Stephenson County Fair. We have gotten into fair season, and let me tell you, the heat, the humidity, and thunderstorms go hand in hand, it seems like, with fair season. But thankfully, we've had some very, I'm not going to say comfortable, because it has been a little more humid than it has been in the last couple of days, but we'll get into that in just a moment. Let's look at our temperatures here out across northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Those numbers sitting in the mid and upper 80s in a couple of spots, but you can feel that humidity. At least we've got just a little bit of a breeze out there. Currently 84 now in the Pretzel City, 85 in Rockford, feels like 89. And you've got a heat index currently right now of 90 up in Janesville. We've been in and out of the cloud cover. We've had those cumulus clouds build up here over the last few hours. That has been able to block out some of that sunshine over the last few hours as well. But keeping an eye on a disturbance back out to the west, that could fire off an isolated thunderstorm or two. Find out if that'll limit some of that heat coming up and how long that heat will stick around, all in the First Warn forecast a little later.
A pilot is dead after an Ogle County plane crash. What we know so far is the investigation's turned over to federal authorities. Plus, another state-line school district changes its cell phone policy. What Belvidere superintendent has to say about the district's new rules. And Rockford's airport announces a new service with American Airlines. Passengers will be able to skip the lines at O'Hare Security.
Live from WTVO 17. This is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening. I'm Mimi Murphy. Thanks for joining us. Tonight at 5, the pilot of a crop dusting plane is dead after a crash in rural Ogle County this morning. The sheriff's office says the plane went down around 9:30 near the Ogle County airport. The plane erupted into flames. The pilot was found dead inside. He was the only person on the aircraft. The plane took out 7 utility poles, knocking out power to nearly 400 customers. ComEd says power has since been restored. Route 64 is expected to be closed for the rest of the day. Right now, we don't know what caused the plane to go down. The sheriff's office is handing the investigation over to the FAA and the NTSB. In Rockford, crews worked to free a crane operator injured on the job. Just after 2 this afternoon, Rockford Fire was called to Brynwood Square on North Mulford. Authorities say the victim was using a crane to remove a metal truss from the roof when it fell and pierced the cabin, trapping him inside. It took about an hour for first responders to rescue the operator. He was taken to the hospital in stable condition. An excessive heat watch begins tomorrow here in the state line. We should expect to see some dangerously high temperatures. Let's head right back out to the Stephenson County Fairgrounds for more with Candace. So Candace, what should we expect?
Yeah, you know, we've got that heat that'll be building up, and you can feel a little bit of that humidity here even this afternoon. Thankfully, we've got a bit of a breeze, so that is nice. But the heat index starting to climb. Now, most of us sitting in the upper 80s and low 90s as far as that heat index factor, while actual air temperatures are for the most in the mid, a couple of spots in those upper 80s. But that extreme heat watch has been switched over to that heat advisory as those heat index values, especially going into tomorrow, approaching at least that 105-degree range and perhaps at most 110. So let's look at our numbers right now. We're at 86 down in Dixon, 83 in Freeport, 85 currently in Rockford, and we're 84 in Janesville. You can actually see where those heat index numbers there are close to that 90-degree mark. That heat advisory, that's that orange you see all across northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. That'll begin tomorrow morning, and for some, especially including Stephenson County, running through tomorrow night. So let's look at some of these heat index factors. It'll ease up a little bit, but notice still even at that 9 o'clock hour, we're still approaching the mid and upper 80s. So it is still going to be rather muggy out there. Temperatures here as we go through the night, they're not going to drop off much. The heat index tomorrow morning starting off in those 70s. That'll climb as we head quickly into tomorrow afternoon, reaching up over the triple-digit mark once we get closer to that 11, 12 o'clock hour. And again, that heat index approaching that 105 to perhaps even 108-degree range. Now, there are some thunderstorms in the forecast, so I'm going to time that out. I don't think it has too much of an impact, at least on that heat for tomorrow, but we could see that going into Thursday. So, Mimi, I'll have a little more on that here coming up in the full forecast a little later.
All right, thanks, Candace. We'll check back with you. Meanwhile, with the expected heat and humidity, several cooling shelters are open across the state line. In Freeport, people looking to cool off can go to the public library. For a list of centers in Stephenson, Winnebago, and Boone counties, go to our website, mystateline.com. The first county fair kicks off tonight in Stephenson County, and that's where we find Wendell Edwards and Candace King for the opening night. Hey guys, how's it going out there at the fair?
Mimi, it is summer in the state line, which means county fair season is here.
I know.
And what a day. It's not as hot. You just went over how hot it's going to be.
Yeah.
But here we have a cool breeze.
It's a breeze.
And the first day that people are here, they're already enjoying the Stephenson County Fair, from the food to the fun, even the tractor pull. We've seen a video already of the tractor pull just being one of the exciting events that's happening today.
I know they got a lot of fun stuff going on all throughout the week. You're going to talk a little more about that here a little later in the show with one of the organizers. But yeah, I mean, Stephenson County Fair always has a special place in my heart. So I know you talked to Gary, the board president, and he said, he used to show here, which is true. I mean, I did. I was in 4-H, and so it's always been I love fair season. It's one of my favorites, but Stephenson County Fair always has a very special place.
My favorite is the food. So
Ooh,
let's talk some food.
Yeah.
There's a unique food competition today here at the Stephenson County Fair. You can vote for your favorite unique food from 7 different stands across the fairgrounds. Then Thursday is youth and family night. It's just $3 to get in. Kids under 8 are still free. Thursday is the taste of the Stephenson County Fair, and then you can get $1 samples from over a dozen stands. And we'll have a little bit more coming up. In fact, I will be talking to Kate Boyer. She's a marketing director, and we're going to tell you what's new at the Stephenson County Fair this year. Back to you, Mimi.
All right, we'll check back with you guys in a bit. Thanks. Belvidere students, parents, and staff are bracing for significant changes to District 100's cell phone policy. The Board of Education voted to restrict students' use of cell phones beginning this year. Eyewitness News reporter Blake Dietz spoke with the district superintendent today. And Blake, what did she have to say?
Now, the superintendent told me that over 1,500 community members voiced their opinions on the policies during its development. Reaction was mixed. However, she says that was actually the goal. Superintendent Dr. Cassandra Shuggs says that pleasing everyone just wasn't realistic, so they did what they believe is best for students. Now, high schoolers can only have their cell phones out before school, in passing periods, or at lunch. They can keep them in the classroom, but not on them, while middle and elementary school students will need to keep the devices in their lockers. Dr. Shuggs says they'll be constantly evaluating the policy and sharing results with the community.
We want to be partners with our families, partners with our students in the best way that we can. So as we're communicating this out, we're going to be sharing that data, that information, that research to say that this isn't a decision we made in isolation. This is a decision we made on what we know about best practice at this time, what our students need to really engage effectively in those classroom spaces.
Now, I'll have reaction from parents and students on the policies. That's all coming up in my full story at 6. Mimi.
All right, thanks, Blake. A new service will allow travelers to go through security at the Rockford airport before flying out of O'Hare. It's part of a new collaboration between the 2 airports and American Airlines. American will allow passengers to go to RFD for TSA and bag check, and then travel by coach bus to catch their flight at O'Hare. There will be 5 daily departures through this service, which will connect to over 150 destinations. The new service launches October 20th. We still have more coverage of all the fun at the Stephenson County Fair. When we come back, we'll have a live interview about everything fair goers can expect this year.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Welcome back to the Stephenson County Fair. I'm Wendell Edwards. I am joined tonight by Kate Boyer, who's the executive manager of the Stephenson County Fair, who's going to tell us what people can expect new this year. Welcome, Kate. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us. So, really exciting this year. It's been like 30 years since we've had free grandstands. So now the grandstands are completely open and free the whole week long. It's $10 to get into the gate, but everything else is free.
So once you pay that $10, you don't have to pay again to get into the grandstand.
Nope.
Okay, and that's where the concerts and stuff are? What happens there?
So we've got tractor pulls tonight and Wednesday night. And then we've got a youth and family night with a tough truck challenge, which is very exciting. Local people enter in, very inexpensive. And then we've got concerts all day on Friday.
Okay.
So we've got Johnny Cash, and we have a
Styx.
50s band and Styx. And
These are
ZZ
tribute bands.
Of course, they're tribute bands. and then we've got ZZ Top. So it's going to be a full night of music. Yeah. And then Saturday is Demolition Derby. So all that is included.
Tell me about Thursday. You were mentioning something how it's more affordable.
Yeah, so that's the thing is that our prices tend to get in the gate the rest of the week, but it's only $3 on Thursday.
$3.
$3.
Kids, seniors,
Yep,
everybody.
Everybody. Well, actually, and kids are free. So 7 and under is free.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very affordable for a family to come, and we try to make that all around the grounds. So we have all kinds of extra programming that's only on Thursday, like free pony rides and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you excited about most this year?
Oh, I love the food. So,
Right?
yeah,
That
the
part.
food is awesome. So one of the things on Thursday, the cheaper day, is Taste the Fair. And so for $1, you can go around and taste from about a dozen of the food vendors and try it. So you might see like fried plantain on the menu and be like, "Ooh, I'm not sure." But for $1, maybe
You
you'll
can try it.
Yeah,
right,
why
right.
not?
And I think you mentioned getting back to the agriculture part too. That's really what this is really about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, you can go to any street fair, any place, but a county fair is where you can actually connect the farmers with the consumers. And you know, even if you're 2 or 3 generations off the farm and you don't remember milking cows, you know, you can come back here and experience it and show your children it and just have that unique experience.
Kate, thank you very much. We're at the Stephenson County Fair, the first day of 5 days.
First day of 5 days.
Of 5 days too. Candace is out here at the fair too. She's going to join us on the other side of this break. You're watching Eyewitness News. We're in Stephenson County. We're glad you're with us.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Hey, well, welcome back to the Stephenson County Fair. It is the first night, and let me tell you, the crowds, they have been aplenty here out in Stephenson County. It is a great night. Yeah, a little hot, but we've got more humidity that'll be on the way. Let's do a little bit of a walk and talk, shall we? There is so much to see. You heard about some of the new and fun events that are taking place here this year. A lot of activities and a lot of family-friendly activities. And I'll tell you what, we're kind of making our way down towards the livestock area. That has always been one of my favorites, of course, being a farm girl, right? I like to see the livestock, but you've got the food, you've got the rides, you've got the 4-H in the commercial buildings and all the showings with that. There is so much to do out here as it runs straight through Saturday. So let's get you into that forecast because, of course, it would not be fair season without the heat, the humidity, and then the chance for thunderstorms. So when we look at that forecast here for the Stephenson County Fair, and hopefully these weather graphics will work through, they may or may not. I think we've kind of paused, so hopefully they've got that there in the back. You can see that chance for thunderstorms. And while things are going to be nice and quiet out here as we go through this evening, we do have that chance for a couple of thunderstorms as we work through, especially Thursday going into Friday, and then perhaps on Saturday. Temperature-wise, our numbers are sitting in those mid-80s, but it feels more like the upper 80s and low 90s. But that heat is expected to build quite a bit here as we go throughout the day tomorrow, and then once we get into Thursday. Thursday is just a little bit of a question mark because there are some showers and thunderstorms that'll be coming through. But as I mentioned at the top of the newscast, we do have a heat advisory for all of northern Illinois as well as for southern Wisconsin. For everyone, that'll run through, begin, I should say, Wednesday morning. For some, it'll end Wednesday night, but perhaps get carried over into Thursday. Here in Stephenson County, that'll run through Thursday evening. That means that heat index value could get as high as at least 105, and we're looking at that specifically for tomorrow. And if we stay fairly dry, then that potential going into Thursday, you've got that high heat index of 105 to perhaps even 108 degrees. So if you are going to be spending any time outside, you want to make sure that you are taking those necessary precautions. Now, the one thing that would limit that is the chance for some thunderstorms, and we could see that not so much for today, but we'll keep an eye on this little kind of swirly dew we have on satellite out to the west of us. That's an MCV, mesoscale convective vortex, and that could work through here, Iowa, getting into southwest Wisconsin late tonight, very early tomorrow. Most of that should pass us to the north, but there is a small chance that we might see an isolated shower or thunderstorm tomorrow morning. If we do, that would just delay that onset of that heat during that time tomorrow, but it is still expected to climb. Now, thunderstorms up to the northwest of us, those will develop tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, shifting down to the southeast. These will likely produce an outflow boundary, which may reinforce kind of a cold front as that surges in on Thursday. Thursday morning starting off dry, but then as we get a little bit further into the afternoon and evening, we could see those showers and thunderstorms. And depending on how fast that boundary moves in, that would determine how hot we get. Right now, I think our temperatures are in the lower 90s and still have that heat index for Thursday up to that 105-degree range. So as we go through Friday, that front stalls down to the south of us, showers, thunderstorms. That could carry over again into at least early Saturday before we dry things out and then warm things back up by the time we get into next week, maybe with those temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s.
All right, thanks, Candace. Scott's in next with sports. The Bears are ready to open training camp, and they won't be going easy on their young quarterback.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
The Bears are ready to hit the practice field tomorrow morning for the start of training camp. Players reported at Lake Forest today. Ben Johnson knows Caleb Williams is the key to the team, and Johnson says Williams will be pushed hard in camp.
We're ready to go. The governor's off. He and I have been talking all spring, all summer, constant phone calls, constant conversations. And so I think we're in a great place, and he wants to get coached hard, and we're going to push him as hard as we can and do what's right for the team.
We have the Vikings first game Monday night, 8 p.m. So obviously, you don't look too far ahead, but you do understand that time, you're on a time limit. And so the race is here.
Oh, there's always some bad news going into camp regarding an injured player. This year it's cornerback Jalen Johnson. He won't be available to practice for several weeks. He has a leg injury that he suffered during summer training. He's going through the rehab process. Johnson is coming off a Pro Bowl season last year. In Green Bay, the Packers are set to hold their first camp practice tomorrow morning. They're all set to greet the fans again. The public practices will be packed as usual. Tomorrow's practice is a public practice. Now, the Packers players will be excited to see a new locker room at Lambeau Field. It's pretty sharp. Players had complained last year at the end of the year that the locker room needed to be upgraded. Big Ten football is back on the front burner. Big Ten Media Days open today in Las Vegas. Penn State was picked as the preseason favorite to win the conference by the media. Ohio State next, then Oregon. And how about this Fighting Illini picked fourth, right ahead of Michigan. The Illini are coming off a 10-win season last year, and they have quarterback Luke Altmaier back. In baseball tonight, Cubs will send Matthew Boyd up against the Royals. The Brewers will go after their 12th straight win in Seattle, and the Sox go for their 5th straight win against the Rays. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Well, our first Warren Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Glass and More. Nice and quiet out there for tonight. Keep an eye on that, though, as we head into early tomorrow. Could be an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but the heat really starts to crank up here as we head into tomorrow afternoon. That heat advisory goes into effect. Heat index is 105, 108.
Thanks, Candace, and thanks for watching. We'll see you at 6.